Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 2 of January 2026. Reliance Industries has paused its lithium-ion battery cell manufacturing plants in India after failing to secure Chinese technology, highlighting supply chain challenges. The company is now focusing on assembling battery energy storage systems, a move mirrored by other Indian conglomerates facing similar technology hurdles. China has stepped up scrutiny of clean energy technology deals as it seeks to protect strategic advantages in sectors, complicating localization efforts by foreign manufacturers. SEBI has approved 5 IPOs across sectors including digital lending, alcoholic beverages, textiles and precision engineering. Major issuers include Kisht, Alcobrew Distilleries, Asta Spintex, Indo MIM and Kusumgar, signaling a strong and diverse primary market pipeline. Major banks like Bank of Baroda, RBL Bank, Yes Bank and State Bank of India are opposing the Reserve Bank of India's directive to reveal information on defaulters and inspection reports. These banks have appealed to the Central Information Commission. The outcome of this case will significantly impact banking transparency and depositor rights. Indian companies are tapping into the expertise of retired senior executives. These seasoned leaders are taking on operational roles, bringing decades of experience and crisis management skills. This trend highlights the enduring value of institutional knowledge and strategic judgment. Experienced professionals are proving vital for continuity and sustainable growth in today's dynamic corporate landscape. Prudential Financial's investment arm, PGIM Inc., is reportedly considering selling its Indian Assets Management Unit, PGIM India Asset Management Private Limited. The business, acquired from Deutsche Bank a decade ago, has experienced limited growth and incurred after-tax losses. EY has been engaged to advise on the potential divestment. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, or SEBI, has notified the SEBI Stockbrokers Regulations 2026. SEBI has mandated minimum net worth thresholds based on the category of membership. Trading members are required to maintain a minimum net worth of Rs 1 crore, self-clearing members Rs 5 crore, clearing members Rs 15 crore, and professional clearing members Rs 50 crore, subject to applicable variable net worth requirements and specified relaxations. Market participants anticipate the Reserve Bank of India will inject further liquidity in February and March to stabilize short-term borrowing costs. Despite previous injections, commercial paper and certificate of deposit rates have risen significantly due to tight liquidity, subdued government spending, and increased credit demand. This liquidity crunch is expected to persist, potentially impacting government bond yields. Neville Tata, son of Chairman Noel Tata, is set to join Sir Ratan Tata Trust Board, reinforcing Noel's influence and marking Neville's rise within the Tata Group. This development follows Neville's earlier induction to the Sir Dorabji Tata Trust Board and comes amid potential trustee exits and regulatory changes impacting perpetual appointments. Shadowfax, a Flipkart-based logistics firm, is set to launch its IPO next week at a lower than expected valuation of around Rs 7,400 crore. The company aims to raise Rs 1,900 crore partly to expand its network and partly for brand building. Shadowfax has posted strong revenue and profit growth in recent years. Mahindra & Mahindra will decide the location for its new manufacturing plant in the next 6 months. This move aims to increase its utility vehicle production capacity. The company is exploring various sites across states. This expansion is part of a strategy to meet growing demand and support future product launches. Urban company backer Dharana Capital has raised $250 million for its second growth fund, becoming the latest venture capital firm to stock up on dry powder. The VC company plans to invest in technology and consumer businesses in India, taking a long-term approach with its portfolio companies. Dharana's investors in the new fund include US university endowments, health systems, and non-profits. Maruti Suzuki India Limited has received board approval to invest Rs 4,960 crore in Gujarat to expand its manufacturing capacity, marking a major step in its long-term growth strategy. The company will acquire land at Khoraj Industrial Estate from the Gujarat Industrial Development Corporation, enabling it to add 1 million units to its annual production capacity to meet rising domestic and global automobile demand. The proposed facility will be Maruti Suzuki's second manufacturing unit in Gujarat. Currently, the automaker operates in Hansalpur plant, which houses 3 manufacturing units with an annual capacity of 2.5 lakh vehicles each, taking total capacity to 7.5 lakh units per annum. A fourth plant at Hansalpur is planned to be commissioned in financial year 27, which will raise the Hansalpur's facility's capacity to 1 million vehicles annually. With the addition of the new manufacturing unit, Gujarat's total contribution to Maruti Suzuki's production will rise to 2 million vehicles per year. The Securities and Exchange Board of India has taken another significant step towards digitization by facilitating seamless digital signature certificate functionality for foreign portfolio investors. SEBI has enabled an integrated digital signature certificate or DSC facility within the Common Application Form or CAF portal, thereby digitizing a key component of FPI registration. This initiative allows FPIs to complete critical authentication requirements electronically, reducing reliance on physical documentation and manual processes. Budget 2026 will reflect Donald Trump's undeniable imprint, shaping India's export assumptions and economic priorities amidst a challenging global trade environment. Facing punitive US tariffs and potential sanctions, India's focus shifts to domestic competitiveness and resilience to navigate geopolitical trade pressures and achieve export growth. Larsen & Toubro's heavy civil infrastructure arm has secured a significant order from Torrent Energy Storage Solutions for India's largest 3,000 megawatt Saidongar 1 pumped storage project in Maharashtra. This project will involve the design, engineering, and execution of all civil and hydromechanical works, aiming to bolster grid reliability and energy security. Fair Trade Regulator CCI on Tuesday approved homegrown private equity firm Chris Capital's proposal to acquire a stake in Nash Industries India Private Limited. Mumbai-based Chris Capital is acquiring stakes through its 3 affiliates. Chris Capital Fund 10, 2 Infinity Partners, and Blue Wave Investments Limited. These entities invest in different sectors. India's wholesale price inflation rose to 0.83% in December from 0.32% contraction in November, exceeding market expectations of 0.3%. Government data showed retail inflation also edged up to a 3-month high of about 1.3% in December as food deflation eased, though it remained below the RBI's 4% target for the 4th straight month. Indian Oil Corporation has secured its first cargo of Ecuadorian Orient crude for delivery by the end of March. This strategic purchase aims to diversify the nation's oil imports. The move comes as global sanctions disrupt Russian oil supplies. Indian refiners are actively seeking alternative sources to meet their energy demands. Silver prices surged to a fresh lifetime high on MCX, outperforming gold as softer US inflation data boosted rate cut expectations. Strong global cues, geopolitical tensions, and technical momentum kept precious metals in focus, with analysts flagging further volatility and key support levels. International investors await a crucial Supreme Court verdict on Tiger Global's tax case. This ruling will significantly impact how foreign funds structure their investments in India. The decision could redefine tax implications for indirect transfers and the validity of tax residency certificates. Investors are closely watching for clarity on tax rules and their potential impact on future investment decisions. Coca-Cola is preparing to list its Indian bottling arm, Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages or HCCB, through an IPO this summer to raise approximately $1 billion. The company is valued at nearly $10 billion with investment bankers like Kotak, HDFC Group and Citibank on board. This move aligns with Coca-Cola's global strategy of focusing on brand building rather than direct ownership of capital-intensive operations. Shriram Finance shareholders have voted in favor of key proposals related to its deal with MUFG. This paves the way for MUFG to acquire a 20% stake in Shriram Finance for $4.4 billion. The deal marks the largest cross-border investment in India's financial sector. Shareholders approved share issuance to MUFG, board nominations, and a payment to the ownership trust. The Reserve Bank of India has released new guidelines for internal ombudsman in banks and NBFCs. This move aims to improve how customer complaints are handled within these financial institutions. The internal ombudsman will review complaints that have already been processed but not fully resolved. State Street Investment Management will make a strategic minority investment in Grow Asset Management Limited, valuing the mutual fund business at about Rs 2,500 crore. The investment of up to Rs 580 crore will be split between a secondary share purchase of about Rs 381 crore from Grow's parent entity and a primary infusion of nearly Rs 199 crore into Grow AMC. Following the deal, State Street will hold less than 5% of the voting rights in Grow AMC, while the asset manager will cease to be a wholly owned subsidiary of Billion Brains Garage Ventures Limited, the listed parent of the Grow platform. Months after picking up 24.21% stake in private sector lender Yes Bank, Japan's Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation or SMBC has received the Reserve Bank of India's in-principle approval for setting up a wholly owned subsidiary in India. In May last year, Emirates NBD Bank PJSC, which will be picking up a controlling stake up to 60% in another private sector lender RBL Bank for $3 billion, had also received regulatory nod to set up a wholly owned subsidiary. RBL will be a subsidiary of NBD. SMBC will be the fourth foreign lender to set up a wholly owned subsidiary in India. Indian Bank's credit-to-deposit ratio hit an all-time high of 81.75% as of December 31st, signaling pressure to attract deposits amid robust loan demand. The elevated ratio reflects challenges in deposit mobilization, with investors seeking higher returns elsewhere and a lag in deposit growth compared to credit expansion. India's chemical market is set for massive growth, potentially reaching over $300 billion by 2030. Domestic companies are encouraged to make bold strategic decisions to capture this opportunity. Significant potential exists in sunrise sectors like semiconductors, where specialized chemicals are in high demand. Indian firms can build substantial businesses by focusing on innovation and global scale. Indian Hotels Company, backed by Tata Group, is acquiring a majority stake in Bridge Hospitality. This move aims to bolster IHCL's presence in the boutique luxury hotel market. The deal, valued at up to Rs 225 crore, will integrate Bridge's portfolio of 22 hotels. This acquisition is expected to be completed by March 2026. India's $283 billion IT services industry is showing signs of recovery in 2026, boosted by rising discretionary client spending and AI-driven deals. Infosys and HCL Tech have raised revenue guidance following strong contract wins, while TCS reports healthy demand despite macro uncertainties. Analysts expect AI-led demand to lift Indian IT services revenue growth trajectory. Used car platform Cars24 on Thursday said it aims to go for a public listing in the next 6 to 12 months as the company sees rising revenue growth in the first half of financial year 26. The company reported an adjusted net revenue of Rs 651 crore in the first half of financial year 26, up 18% year-on-year, with its adjusted EBITDA burn reduced by 36% year-on-year to a loss of Rs 162 crore. In first half of financial year 26, around 85,000 cars changed hands on Cars24's platform across 3 markets: India, UAE and Australia. Reserve Bank of India has released draft amendment directions clarifying the computation of owned fund and Tier 1 capital for non-banking financial companies and asset reconstruction companies. RBI has specified the terms and conditions under which perpetual debt instruments will qualify for inclusion in Tier 1 capital. The draft also clarifies the treatment of deferred tax assets and deferred tax liabilities for the purpose of regulatory capital computation. Union Budget 2026 arrives at a moment when India's artificial intelligence ambitions are well funded and well articulated, but increasingly constrained by execution and policy clarity. Industry leaders seek structural reforms for power, approvals, and policy certainty. Clear governance, risk frameworks, and scalable compute access are crucial. The budget must foster domestic AI growth, support Indian languages, and position the government as a key customer to drive innovation and global leadership. Maruti Suzuki India Limited is set to build a massive new plant in Khoraj, Gujarat. This significant investment of Rs 35,000 crores will boost production by 10 lakh cars annually. The project is expected to generate around 12,000 employment opportunities. This move strengthens Gujarat's position as a manufacturing hub and aligns with the Make in India initiative. India's top IT firms saw a dramatic hiring slowdown, adding only 17 net employees in 9 months, a stark contrast to last year's 17,764. This shift, driven by tighter demand and AI adoption, is reshaping the industry. TCS alone shed over 25,000 staff, signaling a move away from traditional growth models towards efficiency and productivity. West Bengal's flagship Silicon Valley project is set to attract investments of around Rs 30,000 crore with a focus on artificial intelligence, data centers, and global capability centers. The state currently hosts 32 government IT parks and over 60 private IT parks, housing more than 2,800 IT and IT-enabled services companies employing over 2 lakh people. West Bengal now ranks 6th in India for data center capacity with 11 private data centers operational. Gujarat, Arunachal Pradesh and Goa have been ranked as the best performers in developing startup ecosystems, according to the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trades or DPIIT's annual state ranking released on Friday. Gujarat secured the top position for the 5th consecutive year. Karnataka, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, and Himachal Pradesh were categorized as top performers. Speaking at the Startup India event, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal highlighted the ecosystem's growth from 400 startups in 2016 to over 2 lakh DPIIT registered startups, generating an estimated 21 lakh jobs. Reserve Bank of India has issued draft amendment directions on the computation of net open position and the calculation of capital charge for foreign exchange risk, inviting public comments. Under the proposed framework, banks are required to compute their net open positions and maintain capital charge for FX risk not only at the standalone level but also at the group or consolidated level, enhancing overall risk oversight. Stakeholders may submit comments on the draft by February 3, 2026, after which the final framework is expected to be notified.
This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.